Hey guys, I haven't done this in a really long time, so bear with me here. So this is Storm from Reddit. We're working on the monthly challenges here, and for this month's monthly challenge, we're doing experiments. So I figured I would show you how to do some acid, sugar, and tannin balancing. It's something that's very important to finishing a mead and making it something that's, a decent mead and taking it another level forward. Some swag from the Iron Bee. If you guys haven't signed up for it, it's a really cool competition that's coming up. So this is a 15% mead that I've gone and made with some local honey. It's fermented dry with Lavin 1118. It's not very good right now. Its point is more to be a bland traditional that I can blend into anything and have it not affect the flavor whatsoever. It doesn't really taste like much, just very, very vaguely of honey. Pretty good color to it. It's got a good color from the late harvest honey that I was using. It's just kind of tart, bland, not a lot going on. So I've got a couple of things here that I can go and use. Real lemon juice. The right way to do this is with hard fruit in the first place. Some blackcurrant, maybe some hibiscus, a lot of other really good natural options for it, but for taste testing, that's what you got. And then aromatic bitters. These are just the exact same thing you'd use in any mixed drink. This one happens to be cocktails for juniper. Looks like juniper and cherry. This is a bourbon barrel traditional that I've been working on for a little while, and I'm going to use both of those to add some tannins and some bitters. They're going to be going after the same goal, but the results is going to be a little bit different. And then the last is just the last bottle of Kirk and Clover. It's pretty run-of-the-mill honey, no real strong flavors to it, but it's a wildflower and it's real honey, so at least it's good for that. I think actually, yep, I haven't opened it. So this probably could use a little bit of sweetness since it's dry. So we give it a taste. I'm putting in about teaspoon and a half there. And then you go and put everything on your scale. This allows you to tear everything out, to zero it out, and then you know how much of everything that you've gone and added. I'm not trying to go make that mead blended for a large batch, but if I was trying to go scale something, I would go use a known weight of mead, a known weight of sugar added, a known weight of everything else, 5 drops in 50 grams, whatever it happens to be, of the bitters, and then you can scale that to your whole batch, just tasting it a quarter cup at a time. It takes a little bit of mixing. I've got it mostly dissolved here at this point. And all of a sudden, that tastes like mead. It tastes like honey now. It's still got a little bit of dissolved in the bottom that I'll get more worked up as we go. But it tastes flat. Like there's not enough acidity or bitters to it at all. The honey was not a spectacular honey. It needs a little bit of work to get it to show up better. So we'll put in 2 drops of this and mix it on up. And that changed the color a little bit. You get a little bit more the honey dissolved. And the smell, it does smell just vaguely of bitters, and that's good. That's something that increases your perception of what the honey and the mead smells like, and that also affects your taste. It's very important to have an aromatic mead as well as a mead that's got some sweetness, if that's what you're shooting for, and all the others balanced, the tannins, the sugar, and the acids. Aroma, big key in how you perceive those 3 things. And almost overnight, that's something I would share with friends. The first, maybe for 4 beers in, but this is something that is reasonably tasty. I'm not sure if it's going to need any acid. It was a little tart to begin with, so I'm just going to put in a few little drops of that. You know, so a little bit of lemon. That's maybe a touch too tart. I'm going to try that one more time with a new sample. I'm going to fill it back up. Yeah, we're back to the base mead. That is not nearly so good. So we're going to try a little bit of lemon again, a little bit less. I had gone and drank a little bit of the last one, so I put in about the same amount of lemon as this real lemon, you know, totally natural lemon juice. Yeah, on its own, definitely too tart. So while it might need a little bit of lemon after we're done blending, right off the bat, far too acidic. This time around, we're going to use this traditional. This was made with QA23. It's about 15.5, 16% alcohol by volume. Before I put in a liter of wild turkey, and that wild turkey I was soaking on a pound of oak cubes, excuse me. The oak really hits you in the face on this. It's fantastic on its own. Not for everyone, but I really like bourbon, scotch, all the rest of those really strong drinks, drinks that are very, very tannic. So this one, I'll use as a tannin blend. Probably put in about 20% by volume on this. And immediately, that cuts the sweetness. But I've still got this, I mean, it smells very strongly of oak. This is a much more aromatic compound than the aromatic bitters, just because I'm using a lot more of it. It's not as bitter, so I can use some more. Put some honey back in it. I'm going to make this nice and sweet, like a dessert mead. Yeah, probably put about a tablespoon of honey into a quarter cup there. This might take a second. Yeah, smells like honey, wildflower, clover, nothing really terribly strong to it, but it smells a little sweet and definitely big hints of oak. Or big hits. Yeah, and that's definitely better than the first one. This is very sweet at this point. This would be a after dinner mead, and it'd definitely be a little too low of an ABV for me. After diluting it with that much honey, I'd probably say it's about 12% if I had to take a guess. But, you know, just napkin calcs there. And I like my dessert meads to be much higher ABVs. I like to make these Polish dwoźniaks, which is 1 part honey to 1 part water, and just let that rip. I stagger the sugars with those, so it gets to be a little bit of a higher ABV, and then it's like 20-21% with Lavin 1118. And that's, you know, a real light sipper once you've gone and gotten it fermented at that kind of ABV. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I'll go post this video on the subreddit, and hit me up if you've got any questions, or want to know a little bit more about how I do this process, or if there's anything that you feel like I could use to be improving on. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye.